Part 38. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 372. Chapter 372, I may have to leave again. Migzu was stunned. She had never expected this to happen. You agreed, Mei Shui looked at Hians. Hians shook his head, got on the bed, and hugged the person. How is it possible? It's hard for you to accept the life in Shenzhen City. I can't bear to let you adapt to the life in Kyoto. In his heart, family is the most important thing. Migzu smiled and said, do you have the final say? The meaning is very clear, can you make the decision? Now that the company is getting bigger and bigger, there are many things that it cannot help but do. Obviously, Hians also thought of this, and he was mentally prepared to say this to Zioxiu. Zioxiu, I really feel sorry for you all these years. Hians buried his head tightly in Zioxiu's neck. Migzu patted his head habitually, I have nothing to do with the children. I am just grandma. I'm afraid she will have the hardest time accepting it. I know, but I can't let go of the Kyoto branch. As you know, our manpower is all retired troops. Building the headquarters in Kyoto is the clearest way. It's not that they didn't want to go before, it was just that they had to do everything step by step. At that time, if they had gone to Kyoto for transportation, they might not be able to do what they are doing now. But it's different now. Whether it's in terms of funds or connections, Kyoto is a place they must go to now. So, what are you struggling with? Mei Shui pushed him away angrily. She has been changing over the years, whether for him or for the children. But the place she loves the most is still the Hejia village where she first came to this world. Every year Xiao Yi would tell her about the changes in the village. But last year, the village chief resigned and Xiao Yi was pushed out again. That's right, Xiao Yi took over the position of village head of Hejia village. Migzu often gave him advice. She always had a certain degree of selfishness in Hejia village. It can be said that the development of the entire village was built on the basis of her yearning. When the children grow up and have their own lives, she will definitely return to herself. That is the life she longs for most, the most relaxed, and the most comfortable. I'm thinking about Grandma, Zioxiu. I have the least worries about you and the children, but I don't know how to talk to Grandma. Hians felt very embarrassed. He could understand what Xiang Yang and the others meant, but it was difficult to actually implement it. Do you think Grandma would disagree? Mei Shui became interested. Since the last time her grandma returned to the village to attend He Niang's wedding, Mei Shui has noticed that her grandma has changed a lot. She just didn't expect that Hians didn't notice it. Let's not talk about adapting to life in Kyoto. Grandma's mentality has long since changed. For her, a place with family is her home. Whether it is Shenzhen City, Kyoto, or Heian Village, if her family is not around, she will feel lonely even in a familiar place. Hians nodded, well, you see how happy Grandma has been living here all these years. If she is asked to leave again, I'm afraid. Hians was worried that Grandma wouldn't be able to accept it. Mei Shui was happy, you are thinking too much. After saying that, Mei Shui got into bed, you can talk to Grandma tomorrow and see her reaction. Mei Shui felt that after hearing the news, Grandma would definitely show off everywhere in the courtyard, showing off that she was going to Kyoto, the capital of the country. Then he harvested a large sum of envy points, raised his butt, and left the Shenzhen market. Hians didn't understand. Don't sleep yet. Tell me what's going on so that I can feel confident. Hians made trouble with Mei Shui, and as they made trouble, the atmosphere between the two changed. You naughty old man, go away, I want to go to bed, and I have to clean up Xiaocheng tomorrow. Mei Shui angrily pushed the person on her body. What does it mean to be old and immoral? I'm still young. Look, am I more handsome than everyone else? Hians was the most shameless. Not as good looking as Xiao. Mei Shui glared at him and said. Xiao is 13 years old, and he is not short at all. He is almost at He-An's shoulders. I don't know who he looks like in terms of facial features, but he is very delicate. Xiaoxiu, how can you compare your son with me? Look at it, can your son's young face compare with mine? They are now an old couple, and He-An's now has more and more ways of torturing Xiaoxiu, and he has become more and more controlling of her sensitive points. Soon a soulful symphony sounded from the bed. Mei Shui could see what He-An's was thinking, so how could Grandma he not know it? However, she had already made mental preparations and could handle it. The next day, He-An's got up early and saw his grandma making breakfast. He stepped forward and told her about going to Kyoto. Did not expect. This is a good thing. How many people can't go to Kyoto once in their lifetime, haha, I will be able to live in Kyoto for a long time, then I can hang out with those old men and ladies, that's great. Sure enough, I still don't understand Grandma. He-An's went to the site in a happy mood. Xiangyang and the others didn't know about He-An's changes, so they got on the train early. Mei Shui slept until past 10 o'clock. Fortunately, her grandma made breakfast in the morning. Maybe because she was going to Kyoto, the old lady focused on Xiaoli, who was selling chickens across the street. Determined to marry her to a good family. Mei Shui had just gotten up when Wang Jiajia came over. It was Xiao who opened the door for her. Aunt Wang. Xiao called out obediently when he saw the person coming. Hey, Xiao, are you home alone? Where is your mother? Since Wang Jiajia moved her store to Shenzhen City, her demeanor has changed day by day. She is a fashionable girl now, and she is still a very rich one. Xiaopeng and the others are all at home. Mom is up and eating, Xiao Yu said, pointing to her mother at the dining table. Smelly Xiaoxiu, you didn't even say a word when you heard me coming. After Wang Jiajia got acquainted with Mei Shui, she kept calling her Xiaoxiu. You took care of my son, do you blame me? Mei Shui rolled her eyes angrily. Humph, I didn't realize it before, but she actually likes to look at handsome men. Xiao, remember to take better care of yourself when you go out from now on. It's also a sin to look too good. Mei Shui educated her son. How could Wang Jiajia not know that she was talking about herself? Humph, you are envious. Well, after coming to Shenzhen City, and conditions permitting, Wang Jiajia became unruly. Is it okay for a man to find a younger woman? Can't she find a younger man? Who stipulated it? Xiao knew that his mother was quarreling with Aunt Wang again, so he might as well run away. Mom, I will take my brothers out to play for a while, and I won't come back for dinner at noon. Xiao felt that it would be safer to go out. Well, do you have enough money? If you don't have enough money, go get some money from your bag. You can go out and eat well by yourself at noon. Wang Jiajia was definitely up to no good. She may not have time to cook for the children at noon. Don't forget to vote. Please vote for recommendation. Asking for a monthly ticket. Please reward. Please support me. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 373. Chapter 373, Settled. Okay, all the money was spent yesterday, there is no money. It was impossible for Xiao Cheng to give out his pocket money. It would be better to just take his mother's. Xiao soon took his brothers out. Xiao Cheng was the happiest because he didn't have to be dealt with by his mother today. Tell me, what's the matter? As soon as the children left, Mei Shui asked Wang Jiajia. How do you know I'm here? Just to have something to do with you, Wang Jiajia pouted and said with an unhappy look on her face. You can come to me if you have nothing to do. Isn't it nice to play with your little boyfriend? Mei Shui had seen through her. Fortunately, she still has principles and plays the game of your own accord. You are jealous. Just like Lele, you are jealous of my freedom, Wang Jiajia said with a look of disdain. Do I need to be jealous? Is the man in my family not good looking, or is he less capable than your little boyfriends, or does he have less time than your little boyfriends? Okay, Wang Jiajia shut her mouth. Whether it is Wang Lianjai or He An's, each of his good sisters has found a better partner than the other. She is single. Let's get down to business. We passed the application for the whitening products you made last time, and we listened to you and bought a production line ourselves, but isn't the whitening alone too simple? When it comes to doing business, Wang Jiajia seems to be a completely different person. It's a bit simpler, but there are no capable people in the factory. You ask me everything. Mei Shui was speechless. The other things were so simple and she could do them all by herself. She might as well have opened her own shop. Who are you asking? I really want them to do it, but they don't have the confidence to do it. When talking about this, Wang Jiajia was almost angry to death. What did they say? She said she didn't know enough and had to go back to school. She couldn't make anything good now. Or let her ask Boss May if she had any good ideas. No, she came here for money. Okay, you can fire those people. Mei Shui drank the soup from the bowl and said with a look of disgust. You're right, it seems I have to change a group of people. Wang Jiajia understood what Mei Shui meant, and she wanted to ask her what she thought when she came to visit today. Unexpectedly, the two people's ideas collided. Want to sit in the store this afternoon? Wang Jiajia invited. No, I have to go to bed in the afternoon. I'm tired. A man is never satisfied, and his waist is always so strong for some reason. Seeing her like this, Wang Jiajia has also been here. How could he not understand? A good man is hard to find. If you say this again, you won't come to my house anymore. Mei Shui didn't tolerate her. That little cutie back then has long since disappeared, and now this one is a big rogue. The kind that brings up bad children. Well, if you don't say it, don't say it. I'm a stingy man. I'm not asking you to separate men and use them. Putting away the teasing on his face, Wang Jiajia started talking about business. Lele wants to come to Shenzhen City. It seems that Wang Lianjai is determined to do business here. Wang Lianjai was engaged in construction projects. Mei Shui didn't understand these things, but he did have something to talk with He An's. It seemed that she had mentioned this matter last time, but she didn't pay attention. Come here, you are short of someone. Wouldn't it be a good idea to ask her to help you? Xiaopang is also in junior high school, so he doesn't need to keep an eye on her every day. It's a pity that when they come, they can only come when their family leaves. Okay, I'm telling you this. You also know how capable Lele is. Do you think our 2 lines are enough now? Yes, this woman. I know, let's come up with another set of products, but I think we don't need to do a lot of volume, and it's best to go the high quality route. I'm tired. I think so too. Whether it's weight loss pills or whitening creams, these medicines are very precious, and I also want to increase the price. The most important thing for them now is that their products are very single. Then what good ideas do you have? Mei Shui certainly didn't know much about these things as Wang Jiajia did. It is inevitable to hear the meaning. I think we can develop a full range of products like those in beauty salons. Mei Shui regretted this woman. Go ahead and dream. I don't have that many good things here. Do you want to exhaust her to death? I'll give you some hydrating or acne removing products at most. Mei Shui rolled her eyes. Okay, these 2 are exactly what we need now. Wang Jiajia will get one thing in the future, but she didn't expect it to be 2 things. Haha, you can get out of here. It was hard to say, but both of them were used to it, and it was very comfortable to get along with each other like this. Both Mei Shui and Wang Jiajia liked this way of getting along with each other. I'm leaving immediately. Taking her small bag, Wang Jiajia stayed at his house for less than an hour and left. Mei Shui was also thinking about what kind of products she would give Wang Jiajia after leaving the Shenzhen market this time. Xiaobai, come here, think about what kind of things to give her. Xiaobai is getting fatter and fatter now, and she doesn't move it every day. Xiaobai raised the fat dog's head. Essential oil, that thing can regulate the body, and can also be used as a beauty product, so it saves trouble. After saying that, Xiaobai closed his eyes again. You are so lazy that I can hardly hold you because you are so fat. This guy. Essential oils are indeed possible, and it saves trouble. The production line can also develop them independently. She only needs to provide a solution. There is also Hu Lele, that guy is very ambitious and capable, and together with Wang Jiajia, Mei Shui feels that they will take over the beauty business in the future. Compared to Xiaobai's laziness, Xiaohong is much better behaved. She sheds her skin almost every 6 months. The skin of the red-black snake is a high-quality traditional Chinese medicine, and Mei Shui collects all of it. Let alone the group of Xiaohong's descendants and grandchildren in space. A few days later, Hians welcomed Xiao Lai and Xiang Yang at the station. Seeing the two of them, Hians sighed. What are you doing here? He was already prepared, but when he saw them arriving, Hians was a little bit confused about whether to laugh or cry. But it's just a good time to come here, there must be one person left to take over the affairs here. Ans, don't blame your brothers for forcing you, but you are the only one in Kyoto who can eat well, not us. The two self-aware people spoke in a low tone. There is nothing you can do about it, who makes yourself inferior to others. Oh, so if I move every few years or every few years, I move faster than those who are officials, right? It's one thing to be willing in your heart. Don't be angry, we really have no choice. Ans, we know you are suffering, so how about we each give up 1% of the profit and treat it as the expense of all these years of hard work. Xiang Yang's words were also discussed by the two of them a long time ago. Hians rolled his eyes at them. Come on, he alone accounts for 55% of the Yuanhang shipping company. If you take theirs again, they will really become more and more pitiful, and it will not be good for any of the three of them in the future. The votes are moving. Thank you, babes. I love you with all my heart. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 374. Chapter 374, Coming to Kyoto. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Who of you will be in charge of Shenzhen City? It was the best reward for him that they could come up with something to comfort him. I'll come, Xiang Yang said with a wry smile. I hope we can live in Kyoto for a long time in the future and don't have to travel around. Xiang Yang and his younger brother have grown up, and there are people taking care of the elderly at home, and he can also take his family out for a while. Come here, have you made all the arrangements at home? Hians didn't expect that Xiang Yang would be here. What can we do? My brother is also married, and it's time for him to start a family. As for my parents, they are in good health. That's right, your sister-in-law has a shop in Mingcheng, and she won't be able to leave for a while. Xiao Lai wanted to come, but it was really difficult to move to his wife's place. Since you have made arrangements, then let's go as you arranged. However, Shenzhen City has to take over early. Xiao and the others will start school in September, and I will have to leave at least in mid-August. Even so, it only takes more than a month to complete the calculation. So urgent, Xiang Yang was surprised. What if I have 3 children going to school? Do you think I am too restless here? Hians became angry when he mentioned this. I have to call back at night, and let Anwen help Xiao find a school for school. What do you have to prepare the house? Oh my god, a lot of things. Haha, we are all brothers, we are all brothers. Seeing Ans getting angry, Xiao Lai immediately comforted him. Brother, come on, it's getting late, come home with me. Hians planned to take them to stay at home. Forget it, let's just live in the Intercontinental. We will buy some things at your house later and go back to see the old lady. Stay, where can I stay? At his house? It's okay, It's not too far from home anyway. Hians didn't force them. In that case, let's have dinner at Lao Qian's place. This will save the family trouble. Hians also understands their thoughts and lets them go. Okay, then I'll take you to make arrangements. They need to find a place to live first. With Hians greeting them in advance, Mei Shui and Grandma were not surprised to see Xiao Lai and the others arriving. Come in quickly, come as soon as you come, bring anything else. It's not someone else. I haven't seen them for a few days, but Grandma, he was still very happy to see them coming. Grandma, how can we be polite to you? I haven't seen you for a long time. I'm afraid you may not be used to the food here in Shenzhen. We brought these from home. They are not expensive things. Xiao Lai, I like this old lady very much. The same goes for Xiang Yang. He is very grateful to Grandma. If she hadn't asked to help him, his wife might not have been able to marry him back. That's right, Grandma, we won't be polite to you. Haha, okay, you're welcome. Treat this place as your own home. You'll sleep at home tonight. Grandma will cook you a good meal to make up for your loss. Look, you've all lost weight. Hians rolled his eyes. Grandma hasn't seen them in several years. Has she lost weight? He doesn't think so. Meixiu also smiled and took the things in their hands. They were all considered her own, so there was no need to push them around too politely. Grandma, please stop working. They won't be able to stay in Shenzhen City for long. They will leave tomorrow. Don't eat at home tonight. Let's go to Intercontinental. Hians didn't want Grandma and Xiaoxiu to be so tired. Why did you leave right after you came here, Grandma? He said with some reluctance. Xiao Lai and Xiang Yang were a little embarrassed. They came here just to let Hians go to Kyoto. In other words, when they came, they had to leave. The two of them were a little embarrassed. Grandma, we are busy, he. I know you are busy, but you have lost weight. Well, it would be better for Hians not to participate in the conversation between them, and just let the old lady be happy. As soon as Xiang Yang and the others leave, Hians will make arrangements immediately. Xiaoxiu, you and Grandma go to Kyoto first. I called Mr. Wu about Xiao and his school transfer. The old man said to leave this matter to him. Leave professional matters to professionals. He still wanted to give it to him. A better life for the kids. Mei Shui was a little confused. Didn't you ask him when to do it? And Wen is familiar with any old man in Kyoto. It would be better to leave this matter to him. Hians comforted Xiaoxiu's back. It's up to you, but what will An Wen say about the house? The biggest problem is the house. This is a coincidence. Do you still remember when Qian Xiang said he would go to Kyoto for development? Hian started to show off when his wife talked about the house. Meigs, you really didn't know about this. Tell me about it, she said with some interest. He originally wanted to open a branch in Kyoto, but unfortunately he didn't have any manpower available at the time, and it was too far away, so he bought a piece of land there and asked me if I wanted to buy a house. I thought I needed to sell the gold in my hand. So I asked him to help me exchange the gold for a house. Hians explained the whole story to Mei Shui. Looking at her surprised expression, Hians felt satisfied for the first time. So, you had a plan for a long time. Mei Shui was not stupid. It can't be said that it is a plan, but that I have ambitions. Wife, I said that I want to give you a better life, and it must not be worse than others. Well, Hians is a little proud. Mei Shui knew what he meant. Seeing how proud he was, she didn't try to burst his bubble of beauty. Even now, she can spend money to buy it. Well, she is richer. As long as you are happy. This night, a man's soul must be satisfied as well as his body, so Mei Shui slept until noon the next day. 1 month passed very quickly, and Mei Shui brought her grandma and children to Kyoto early. It has been almost 10 days since I came here, and things at home have been almost arranged. Fortunately, Li Shuang is here to help from time to time, otherwise it would be a bit slow for someone who is not familiar with the place. Shuang, please sit down quickly. Stop working and see if your family is hungry, grandma. He stopped Li Shuang, who was about to help Mei Shui cook. Go quickly, I have nothing to do here. Mei Shui pushed Li Shuang, don't let Chen Chen go hungry. Chen Chen is 2 years old and is wearing a leather jacket. Li Shuang didn't understand that it was her sister-in-law and grandma who felt sorry for her. Well, sister-in-law, if you are too busy, just call me. She still focused on her children. Okay, Mei Shui smiled and nodded. It didn't take long to get used to life in Kyoto. Mainly because it is the capital of the country and there are many outsiders. And Hian's house is not a courtyard house, but a building. Because of Qian Xiang's relationship, this house is quite close to the central area. It is not cheap to buy such a large house now. If it weren't for lack of money, Hian's would have wanted to buy a yard like the Zhao family. It's a pity. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 375. Chapter 375, Getting Along. This is considered the second ring road, and the people living around it are all successful people. They are also very kind as people. The old lady has only been here for about 10 days, and she has also made a few good friends. Well, the elderly Yu Mixia couldn't understand, but she felt that it was because of Grandma Wu and Grandma Lin that the old lady made friends so quickly. Of course, Mei Shui does not reject such behavior, and people rely on relationships to get along. If it doesn't matter, who will know each other? The children's school was also decided under the arrangement of Mr. Wu, and they studied in Kyoto No. 1 Middle School. Xiao is in junior high school. No. 1 Middle School is considered the best middle school and high school in Kyoto. Xiaopeng and the others are studying in Kyoto affiliated elementary school, and they can directly advance to No. 1 Middle School. Look, madam, Chen Chen actually peed on the sofa. Xiaopeng was playing with Chen Chen, and he touched the urine on his hand. Haha, it's like a kid pissing. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. The old lady held Chen Chen in her arms with one hand. You brat, why don't you call me madam when you pee? The old lady kissed Chen Chen the face. Chen Chen laughed out loud. I forgot. Chen Chen replied with a smile on his face. Li Shuang happened to walk over and heard Chen Chen peeing on the sofa. She looked embarrassed and said, Grandma, I'll wash the cover later. It's okay, it's okay. I'll be done in a while. It's going fast today, the old lady said with a nonchalant expression. Auntie, you have to teach Chen Chen how to urinate and call someone. Xiaopeng looked like an adult. This made Li Shuang even more embarrassed. I'm sorry Xiaopeng, my aunt will wash the cover after a while. Xiaopeng didn't mean that. He was a smart man and he heard his aunt's embarrassment. No, aunt, that's not what I meant. I meant that Chen Chen must learn to pee and call someone. Xiaopeng felt that his mouth was too stupid, and he had no intention of letting his aunt wash it. The old lady understands her grandson. He is not a fussy person. He said this because he sincerely thinks about Chen Chen. You, don't think too much. You don't know what kind of child Xiaopeng is. How could he dislike Xiao Kenshin? The old lady pulled Li Shuang. Did you bring your child's clothes? Change them for him after you bring him. He's wet and uncomfortable. After saying that, the old lady kissed Chen Chen again. Isn't that right, Chen Chen? Chen Chen knew that she had done something bad and looked shy. Well, my wife is right. As soon as the little kid said this, everyone immediately laughed. You brat, you have the nerve to say that? Li Shuang took his son and slapped his heart twice. Let's see if you have a long memory. Mom, I was wrong. As soon as she was beaten, Chen Chen immediately apologized. Looking like that, you don't look like someone who can change. The laughter in the living room also spread to the kitchen, and Mei Shui curled up her lips and became happy. Xiaopeng probably felt embarrassed, so he stood up, said hello and entered the room. The eldest brother is watching Xiao Cheng do his homework. School is about to start and he hasn't finished his homework yet. They not only have to write school homework, but also the homework assigned to them by Mrs. Wu. Seeing Xiao Peng come in, Xiao Cheng immediately stopped writing and asked, "Second brother, what's wrong with you?" It was obvious that something was wrong on the second brother's face. Xiao Peng didn't know what to say. Chen peed on the sofa. He sighed and said it. "Just pee when you pee, what's the big deal?" When Xiao Cheng heard this, he didn't think it was a big deal. "Xiao understands." "Xiao Peng, did you say something?" Yes, Xiao Peng talked about his aunt's reaction and what he said. It's just that mouth you don't like, so from now on you should keep your mouth shut. I don't know if this incident caused Xiao Peng to have a bad temper in the future. I know, brother. Okay, don't think too much. Auntie is not a stingy person. You come here and keep an eye on Xiao Cheng. I'll go out, otherwise it's not good if everyone comes in. Xiao is 13 years old this year, and his thinking is more mature. As soon as the eldest brother left, Xiao Cheng became angry and said, "Second brother, you see I have been writing all morning today. Why don't you take a break? His hands hurt so much." Xiao Peng glared at him and said, "That's a good idea. Mrs. Wu will have some homework tomorrow. If you don't finish it today, what will I do to you tomorrow?" As a result, Xiao Cheng became in pain again. Outside, after changing clothes, Chen became active again. Xiao saw that he was having fun, so he also played with him. "Xiao, haven't you finished your homework?" Xiao Cheng and the others have been doing homework in the room since she came here in the morning, and they haven't come out until now. Li Shuang asked, a little confused. "It's still a little bit worse. I can definitely finish it before eating," Xiao replied. Grandma he saw them chatting about homework and immediately interrupted, "Don't worry about Xiao Cheng. He is just itchy and lazy to death day by day. I don't know who he looks like." Before lunch, Xiao Cheng finally finished his homework and he was freed. "Auntie, can I stay at your house for a few days?" Xiao Cheng's mind started to spin. Of course Li Shuang was happy, of course she couldn't help but ask for it. "You can teach Xiao how to do her homework. She is even naughtier than Chen." Both she and Anwen doted on their daughter, so much so that her temper was even worse than that of Chen. "Today I am 7 years old, and I am not as sensible as Xiao Peng and others. You know, she is not much younger than Xiao Peng and the others. If she were like Xiao Peng and the others, she would feel at ease." "It's okay, I'll take care of it," Xiao Cheng said happily. At home, the eldest brother and the second brother are always watching him do his homework, and he can finally be a teacher for once. "Don't think about it. Have you forgotten that Mrs. Wu has been giving you homework every day these days?" Mei Shui immediately shook her head and refused. She is still very concerned about educating her children, because what she has learned is different from what they have learned, and she cannot teach them. Of course she is happy to have someone in charge of them now. "When you go to school, you can go play on weekends." Mei Shui will not relax her education. "Sister-in-law, they are all very good, don't they need to be so harsh?" Li Shuang said with some disapproval. "Don't worry about him, he just makes excuses to go out to play, but you can send Xiao over tomorrow and let them do homework together anyway, it won't take long for him to make a car." Seeing that his sister-in-law disagreed, Li Shuang didn't say much, but he felt that her sister-in-law was right. They couldn't be cruel to Xiao at home, so they might as well leave it to her. "That's okay," Li Shuang responded with a smile. Coming to Kyoto, because Anwen and the others were there, everyone felt more at home in Kyoto. Today either Li Shuang came over to play with his children, or Anshin's wife came over for a walk. "Please give me a vote, thank you." Asking for recommendation votes, asking for monthly votes, asking for rewards, and asking for collections. End of this chapter. 80s, The farmer's wife is the boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 376. Chapter 376, The Start of School. However, Anshan's wife's belly is getting bigger and bigger, and she has only been here twice in the past few days. Looking at her big belly, neither Mei Shui nor Grandma dared to let her run around. The start of school in September is getting closer and closer, and Hians has finally completed the handover, and he rushed to Kyoto before the start of school. Registration is not on September 1st, but at the end of August. Because Xiao and the others changed schools, there was another exam. This exam was forced by Mr. Wu. For his sake, there would be no problem in arranging for 300 people, let alone 3 people. But he didn't want to use his power for personal gain and let the 3 children take the exam fairly and fairly. He had confidence in them. Take the test well and don't embarrass me, old man, or you will have twice as much homework in the future in the school. The old man took them to the principal's office. There are many teachers here today. I will take Xiao here to take the exam first, and then go to the attached primary school opposite after the exam. That's right, Kyoto Elementary School is right opposite Kyoto No. 1 Middle School, and the 2 schools are separated by a road. Mei Shui and Hians were like transparent people, watching from the sidelines without making a sound or saying much. Leave the whole process to the old man. I understand, ma'am. The 3 of them were not afraid of the exam at all. Not to mention Xiao Peng and Xiao Cheng. As for Xiao, he has long been familiar with the entire junior high school curriculum, and now he is not afraid even if he participates in junior high school. Xiao Peng and Xiao Chendao are looking forward to the new school. They were already kings in school when they were in Shenzhen City. No matter who they were, they would give them 3 points, and they were not having fun at all. The new school is different. No one knows them. When the time comes, the 2 of them had already made a plan and must preserve their strength. There are 9 subjects in the 2nd grade of junior high school. It took a long time for Xiao to take the exam. After Mei Shui said hello to the old man and the teachers, she took Xiao Peng and the others around the school. Hians accompanied Xiao the whole time, sitting and waiting in the office, listening to the old man talking to the principal and others. Kyoto No. 1 Middle School is indeed the No. 1 middle school. The environment inside is really good. Mei Shui was a little worried that Xiao would not eat well at school, so she took them directly to the cafeteria. After understanding it, we walked around again. Xiao Peng and Xiao Cheng bought a lot of snacks in their hands. It was a rare opportunity. They had almost used up their pocket money. It was not the new year yet, so they didn't have much money in their hands. It's a bit difficult to eat with such openness. Mom, the environment here is great. My brother and I also want to come to school, Xiao Cheng said with envy while eating. Meixia glanced at her younger son and said, yes, as long as you are willing. She didn't understand her son's little thoughts. Mom, don't listen to Xiao Cheng's nonsense. I think elementary school is better, he said. Yes. Now that he is in Kyoto, as soon as Mrs. Wu's homework comes in, he has less and less time to play with medicine. If he were to enter junior high school now, he would definitely be too busy. He pinched his brother hard, and Xiao Peng was trying to please his mother. Mom, we are still young, and we haven't learned a lot of knowledge well in elementary school. Seeing that Xiao Peng was acting like a brat, Mei Shui laughed heartlessly. You have so many small thoughts, but what you research in the future cannot be used in the school, otherwise I will beat you to death. When she was in the Shenzhen market, she often took the blame. When the 2 heard what their mother said, they immediately trembled and promised, we will definitely not do it. I thought to myself, the worst thing is that no one will find out. When you come to a new school, you can try more of your own medicine. It would be boring if it was impossible to bring it to the school. Haha, it's best to remember Mei Shui didn't know what they were thinking. Looking at the time, It was almost 2 hours later. I thought Xiao had almost passed the exam. Let's go and see your eldest brother. Actually, what Mixu was most worried about when she came to Kyoto was Xiao, because his previous home was in Kyoto, and judging from his tone, I was afraid that the Cheng family was not an ordinary family either. But if it's unusual, then why didn't Mr. Shi and the others recognize Xiao? This point makes Mei Shui very confused, but it is best not to see the original family members, otherwise. Xiaobai seems to be too lazy recently, she doesn't mind letting it move at all. By the time Mei Shui brought her children to the principal's office, Xiao had already stopped writing. At this time, several teachers were correcting his test papers. Mr. Wu was very calm, smiling, and drinking tea. Seeing Xiaoxiu come in, he immediately waved to her. Xiaoxiu, it's been a long time since I've had the food you cooked. How about I call your grandsons, Grandpa Shi and Grandpa Hua, over tonight, so we can all get together? Mr. Wu looked greedy. Mei Shui was speechless. Intercontinental Hotel has branches in Kyoto. Don't think she doesn't know, this group of people often rob Qianziang. Qianziang said that every time he brings food to these people, 1/3 of it will be taken away by them. That's different. I don't care whether what those people cook is delicious or not. I've been tired all day long. You have to give me a good refreshment. The old man is really shameless when he is shameless. On the contrary, everyone sitting around him looked at the He family seriously. Mei Shui rolled her eyes at him. I think you miss Grandma's scolding. You can go, but wait until tomorrow. We didn't prepare so many dishes at home today. Tomorrow is tomorrow, it's settled. Haha, the old man actually had no hope. He just said this to make these people treat Xiao better. But we want to drink the wine you brew. The old man mentioned another condition. I haven't made wine in these years. Mei Shui rolled her eyes at the old man angrily. Besides, it's better for your health to drink less alcohol. It's okay, I've been drinking the health wine from your winery. Their health is good. Oh, you are quite rich. Mei Shui smiled, but you can't drink too much. 2 taels a day is enough. The health wine there lacks her space water, so even if the effect is better than others, but after all, alcohol still puts some strain on the liver. The more she read the medical books, the more Mei Shui learned about medicine. She could tell by looking at Zijinao that the old man had worked a lot when he returned to the capital, and the physical load was incomparable to what he had done in Hejiakan. Also, you can't stop taking the health pills. You haven't taken them for some days, right? Mei Shui said to the point. You girl is so unlovable. He had stopped for some time. He always felt that these health pills could not compare with what Xiaoxiu gave them. The effect is not obvious. He eats when he remembers and stops when he can't remember. Haha, it's best to eat it, and it won't cost much. Besides, the age of the medicinal materials is not false, but the prescription is there. It's better than you taking the medicine. There was only so much that Mei Shui could say. Okay, Grandpa Wu has made a note of it. I'll eat it when I get back today. Xiaoxiu had already said that, so he might as well continue eating. While they were almost chatting, the corrector there also stopped. He knew Xiao's achievements well, but maybe it was for the sake of a duller life in the future that he didn't give full play to his abilities. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 377. Chapter 377, Examination. When the test paper was in the old man's hand, the old man glared at Xiao and said, "You kid, you are too lazy to die." That's what he said, but he understood Xiao's thoughts. The homework will be doubled in the future. After saying that, he handed the test paper back to the principal. Take a look too. The principal took it and read it. After reading it, he was a little confused. You know these functions, But why don't you write these geometries? The principal was a little confused. She glanced at the old man and said with some fear, I can't. All right. This excuse. You win. The principal is not an incompetent person to be the principal. He figured it out after a while. You kid, you are really lazy. Okay, she will go to the first class of the second grade of junior high school. Mr. Lee, do you think you can accept this student? The principal may have given Mr. Wu face at first. It can be done now. The child is very capable. So many teachers came today because of Mr. Wu. Who knew he was a talented person? I'll take it, of course I'll take it. How could I not want such a good seedling? Teacher Lee was so happy when his name was called. Then I'll leave it to you. Xiao's whereabouts were finally decided. After Xiao made arrangements, Mr. Wu and the He family left the number 1 middle school and went to the attached primary school opposite. Originally, he didn't need to go to this kind of elementary school. It was just a matter of one sentence. But he values Xiaopeng and the others very much. What do you love most about being a teacher? Of course it's talent. With Mr. Wu coming forward, Xiaopeng and the others' treatment is similar to that of Xiao. However, they are in the 4th grade and are relatively stable. 100 is not a problem. However, the attached primary school has a foreign language, which is their shortcoming. The results were so-so, and the old man was so angry that he hammered the ground. Now that I have registered, I will wait until September 1st to come to school. Mei Shui took the children to say goodbye to the old man at the school gate, while Hans drove to see the old man off. And the old man's car followed Hans's car. Hans, when you come to Kyoto this time, do you plan to open a long-distance shipping company here? Mr. Wu asked. Well, we plan to put our headquarters in Kyoto and settle in Kyoto in the future. From the old man, he had nothing to hide. Mr. Wu sighed after hearing what he said. When you have free time, walk around with your grandpa more often. He can help with school matters, but there are still some things he can't do anything about. Hans understood what he meant. It's the same as before. Hans's answer was also very direct. He won't try to please anyone because of his status. If everyone wants to interact with them, just do it as before. If that doesn't work, the worst he can do is stop interacting with them. You have been in business for so many years and you have to learn to be flexible. Your grandpa is still a good person. The old man is teaching Hans. Hans is not stupid, of course he understands. Well, I know, Grandpa Wu, don't worry about me, I'm sensible, I have nothing to do to beg others, I just begged you for the sake of my child, don't think too much about it, I think take a walk on the ground. It's a good idea that you have, but the situation in Kyoto is a bit complicated, and some interpersonal relationships still need to be used. Besides, if it comes to that, I won't be polite to you. Hans did not refuse 100%, because he knew that many things were not his final say. It's good if you think so, but your grandma has been in good health these years. His wife had been to his house, but he hadn't had the chance to go there yet. How many people are staring at these old bones whenever they move? Well, I went shopping with Grandma Xiu last time, Hans said with a smile on his face when he talked about Grandma Xiu. That's good. After sending the old man back, Hans didn't even enter the house and drove away directly. As soon as she returned, Mei Shui told her grandma about Mr. Wu's request. Of course Grandma, he was happy. It would be great if we had land and fields in Kyoto. The old lady sighed. Mei Shui was speechless. Grandma was used to eating at home. I think the food in the wet market is also good. How about we ask Xianxiang to order some food? Forget it, let's make more dry goods tomorrow. I still have a lot of wild products at home, I'll soak them in a while. The vegetables grown at home are still delicious. After Mei Shui left Shenzhen City, she handed over all matters there to He Anyang. He can now stand alone, but he will not stay in Shenzhen City for a long time. He Anyang is also an ambitious person, and he cares more about the vegetable base than Mei Shui. This time he also proposed to let Meixiu buy land and fields in the countryside of Kyoto, and he would come over to farm the land when the time comes. Now that grandma is so unwilling to eat local vegetables, Mei Shui thinks that he Anyang's idea is actually a good one. Grandma, what do you think if we buy land and fields in Kyoto? Mei Shui asked with a smile. Upon hearing this, Grandma, he said, goodbye. The situation at home is finally getting better, so don't worry about it. The expenses in Kyoto are not comparable to those in the village, and Shenzhen. She knows everything about the situation at home. It's okay, Wang Jiajia's income now accounts for the majority, and our family is still rich. Mei Shui knew what her grandma was worried about. I know, but how much money is there? You, just stay at home and take care of your children. If you really feel bored, you can also go to work. Grandma, he feels that the family is very good now, and she doesn't need to be so tired every day. Is farming so easy? She didn't want Xiaoxiu to suffer so much. Grandma, do you think I am the kind of person who goes out to work? Grandma knew Mei Shui, so how could Mei Shui not know that Grandma cared about her? Don't worry, even if I buy land, I won't be planting it myself. When the time comes, I'll call Anyang over to take care of it. I'll just provide the money, Mei Shui said with a smile. Upon hearing this, Grandma, he smiled, really, and then glanced at Xiaoxiu. You kid, you can't speak clearly. If Xiaoyang takes care of it, I think it would be good to set up a vegetable base in Kyoto. At least our food is better. Mei Shui was helpless. Well, after Xiao and the others go to school, I'll take a look around. We still have to talk to Anwen and the others about this matter. Just make up your own mind. Meixiu and Grandma got busy, but Xiao and the others were not in such a good mood. Brother, why did you do so well in the exam today? My second brother and I will be under a lot of pressure in the future, Xiao Cheng complained to his eldest brother with a dissatisfied look on his face. Xiao glanced at him. Do you think we can still live a good life after losing Mrs. Wu's face? He found that his little brother was getting more and more stupid. At least those with better grades will be given preferential treatment in school. They have all experienced this. Thinking about Mrs. Wu's punishment, Xiao Cheng felt that this was good now. I was wrong, brother. Okay, let's not talk about this. Your new school is really good today and there are many classes. Do you have any ideas? The elementary school has not started dividing classes. Based on their results, I'm afraid they won't be ranked too badly when the time comes. I'm having a headache about this, brother. What should I do if I don't want to go to the best class? Xiaopeng has been focusing on practicing medicine recently, and he doesn't want to study hard anymore. There's another power outage. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 378. Chapter 378, Don't think too stupidly. If you are in the best class, you will definitely have a lot of homework by then. Xiao Cheng also had such troubles, even though, brother, I don't want to go either. Xiao did not expect his younger brother and the others to have such thoughts. Why? I won't have time to practice medicine by then. I won't have time to practice martial arts by then. Okay, these two brothers. Well, I think you can talk to the teacher about this yourself. Don't let mom know anyway, the classes haven't started yet, Xiao suggested. Mei Shui didn't know that her three sons were beginning to plot against her. Of course, even if she knew, she wouldn't care too much about them. As long as their grades didn't drop, she wouldn't let them do things they were interested in. Whether it's practicing medicine or martial arts, she can understand their minds. Wasn't she the same way when she was practicing her own powers? I only want to improve, nothing else matters. Whether it was Mei Shui or He An's, they all started their own new lives after arriving in Kyoto. Grandma is more comfortable in Kyoto than in Shenzhen City. Grandma Xiu and Grandma Lin drag her around to play every day. In the family, she is the most carefree and carefree. After Hians arranged the children's affairs, he started the construction of the Kyoto headquarters, where everything had to be started from scratch. First he went to choose the land. On some matters, he followed Mr. Wu's advice and approached Mr. Sunday. After spending favors, he got a satisfactory answer. Of course, the old men also have a gathering place, and that is the He family. It's a pity that the He family's house is good, but it is not loved by these old people. No, Mr. Shi was very unhappy after getting together at He's house again. Ans, your family is not short of money now. There are still many yards over Hauerhe. Why don't you buy one? Uncle Shi asked with two dissatisfied sounds in his mouth. Mei Shui gave the old man a white look. Hey, don't think she doesn't know who the people who can live there are. Besides, can they buy the yard if they want to? Uncle Shi, my family is poor and I can't compare with you, Mei Shui said. Hian smiled and said nothing. He didn't want to buy it, but he had to have this relationship. He didn't have the ability. It is all thanks to Qianziang that he can buy a house here. Otherwise, with his ability, he would not be able to buy a house in these places. You stinky girl, you are becoming more and more unlovable, not cute at all. The old man was just being mean. Maine is used to living in a big courtyard, and being locked up on this floor all of a sudden makes him feel very uncomfortable. Huh, can you scold my Xiaoxiu? I think you just need to be beaten. You don't like my family so much and you are not welcome to come compared with other people. Grandma, he has a better relationship with Uncle Shi. Sister, don't get excited. A person of such an age can't even hear two words of truth. Besides, do you feel comfortable living here? There is no big yard. Uncle Shi is the same as he was in the village. I'm thinking, as long as you can get a yard, my family will buy it. I'll take out the coffin book and buy it too. The old lady is a person who refuses to admit defeat. Of course, she knows the character of these people better. Upon hearing this, a group of old men and women were delighted. Seriously. I'm telling you, sister, this yard really does exist. It's not too far from where we live, but it's a little troublesome to get in and out. Hians was speechless after hearing these words. Are those places a civilian like him can go to? Even if it delays their relationship, is it possible for them to stay together for a long time? He is afraid that something will happen, and the first person to be suspicious will be his family. Come on, old man, the place you mentioned is not something our family can go to. It might as well be Hauerhe, even if it's a little more expensive. Hians interrupted them immediately. What if Grandma is deceived? It will be very troublesome then. Mr. Shi and Mr. Sun quit. You kid, why do you get in the way when adults are talking? Well, it turns out these two have bad intentions. Humph, that's my grandson. He can't even tell you whether you still want to be the head of our family. The old lady is a defensive person. The two of them looked at each other and saw disappointment in each other's eyes, but it was okay. Hauerhe had said something about it. At worst, they will live in Hauerhe, where they will also have a yard. Don't worry, these old men are not gentlemen who would wrong themselves. Of course, they also have this ability. They can eat themselves, and they are not afraid of other people's opinions. If they have neither stolen nor robbed, no one can do anything about them. Mr. Wu and Mr. Hua are much more easygoing. They are not the kind of people who are careless, but they both have some wealth. Hauerhe, of course they also have them, but they are not as good as these two shameless old guys. Let's talk. The old lady is not stupid. After sending these people away after another meal, Grandma, he sighed, Xiaoxiu, don't agree to let them come to your door again. They are too tired. The old lady was very annoyed. In comparison, her family is quite far away from others. Among them, old man Shi showed off the most, which made her heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys hurt. Who doesn't want to save face? Grandma, if you want to live in a big courtyard, we can still afford it, but we can never go to the courtyard that Uncle Shi mentioned. Having been in Kyoto for more than a month, Hyans also knows about Kyoto. Wherever there are people, there is struggle, let alone those deep gates and courtyards. I know, I was almost deceived by them, but why do you think those two dead old men wanted us to live in them? On this point, the old lady was very smart. Mei Shui and Hyans looked at each other and smiled bitterly. After all, it's probably their fault. Meixiu took excessive care of her grandma's body. Even though the old man and the others had also received nourishment before, there was still a big difference between them. They are all human beings. I'm afraid they noticed grandma when they first saw her. It's just that it's hard to ask openly, so you can only coax people over first and see if you can get any benefits. Of course, they still have feelings for each other and cannot go to extremes. As for Mei Shui and Hyans, because of their inner strength, they were no longer ordinary people, and their aura gradually became apparent. Most people may not notice much, but those who have been tempered on the battlefield can tell at a glance that they have excessive blood. Grandma, don't worry. Leave this matter to me and Xiaoxiu. You can eat, drink and have fun in Kyoto with peace of mind. You can do whatever you want, but just go to the compound that the old man said. Hyans didn't want grandma to worry too much, so he chose concealed. How could the old lady not know what he was thinking? She glanced at him and rolled her eyes. Don't think your grandma is too stupid. Grandma eats more salt than you eat rice. Okay, you guys know this well. That's it, keep it secret in everything you do from now on. Others are not your parents, so they won't do it wholeheartedly. I know, Grandma, the two said in unison. Every bustle in the world is for benefit, and all the hustle and bustle in the world is for benefit. Remember to vote. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 379. Chapter 379, Figure It Out. No matter how good a relationship is, it still needs to be maintained, unlike the love between parents and relatives, which is selfless. Seeing grandma like this, the two of them laughed bitterly. Okay, I'm exhausted. I'm going to rest first. You guys should go to bed early. Grandma waved her hand, got up and walked to her room. Xiao is several years older than Xiaopeng and the others, and with his childhood experiences, he is more sensible than Xiaopeng and the others. I also know why some friendly ladies have such intentions. In the room, the three brothers still chose to live together. Fortunately, this room was a combination of two rooms, and the space was very wide. Xiaopeng, Xiaocheng, you should be careful when going out from now on. Whether it is medicine or force, hide it if you can. He felt that the only things that could be remembered at home were these two things. He is not the biological child of his parents, but his parents treat him no worse than his own children. Sometimes he clearly feels that his parents treat him better. Brother, madam, are they worried about our family's prescription? This is Xiaopeng's best ability to understand now. Xiaocheng had a different idea. No, second brother, maybe they are concerned about our training methods. He was not too fancy about the prescription, nor was he too interested. Martial arts is his passion. If anyone dares to make up his mind, he doesn't mind letting the other person know about it. Seeing Xiaocheng's thoughts, Xiao Yu hit him the head. You are the one who makes people worry the most. You can't use your internal power externally in the future. If you dare to use it, I will tell your parents and have them ban your inner strength. Xiaocheng's internal strength is no worse than him now. Usually, the troubles are not very noticeable. But once he uses his internal strength, Xiao didn't dare to think about the consequences. That's right, Xiaocheng, you should learn more boxing and other skills on weekdays, so that you are not afraid of being spotted. Even if Xiaopeng didn't like it, he didn't have the time to practice for the next day. Yes, Your second brother is right. Let's ask our parents to sign us up for some martial arts classes. Then we won't be afraid of anyone thinking too much. Xiao thought more. Xiao Chen became a little impatient. Do the eldest and second brothers really want to be like this? Then why should he learn those things? Yes, and it's very necessary. Let's go discuss it with our parents later. Xiao didn't like that his family was being cared about by others. Mei Shui and Hians didn't know that the children had thought so much. After tidying up the living room and kitchen, they went to wash up. They had their own confidence and were not afraid of being remembered. The worst case scenario is to go somewhere far away. Don't have too many backroads. Of course, they have this ability and don't rely on others. In the room, Hians looked at Xiaoxiu, who kept frowning, and asked with a worried look on his face, "Are you still worried about what Grandma said?" Mei Shui shook her head. "It's not that I'm worried, I'm afraid." Yes, she was afraid. She was afraid that if she didn't control the matter well, she would end up hurting the person she cared about most. "It's okay." Hian stepped forward and hugged her. "I have everything." He gave her strength, hoping to calm her down. "Ans, it seems we are not strong enough." Mei Shui compared this world with her original world and found that strength is the most powerful backing. "What do you think?" Hians knew that Xiaoxiu was a very independent person, and he was usually willing to discuss everything with her. "Xiao Peng and the others are still young, and I'm not worried about Xiao Yu, but for the two of us, I think we need to strengthen our skills. The children don't need to worry too much, but the most annoying thing is themselves. Why can't she practice supernatural powers in this world? If she could, she wouldn't have to be so restrained. But it's hard for us to go any further now. If we want to have a bigger breakthrough." She understood what he said later, even if he didn't say it. Of course Mei Shui knows, she knows more than Hians imagined. "It's okay, take it step by step, Ans. If possible, I think we should spend more time on training." "I'm afraid." Mei Shui took the initiative to show weakness for the first time. Hians felt very sad. He didn't like his current mood. Xiaoxiu should just smile every day. She shouldn't have to worry about these troubles. Good. Meixiu couldn't sleep. She had insomnia, so she called Xiaobai in. "Talk to it with your consciousness." What Hian saw was Xiaoxiu feeling uneasy, holding Xiaobai there in a daze. "Master, there is nothing to worry about. Your strength is invincible in this world." Xiaobai felt that the master was overthinking. "I am invincible against people, but what about the state machine?" "She doesn't feel invincible, but still very weak." "Why are you going to the country? Aren't you doing well in the country now?" "The country is also very friendly to you, master. Are you thinking too much? There are so many capable strangers in the world, and they are not just the two of them." "Xiaobai, you don't understand. People's hearts are the most unpredictable. No one knows that one minute they are friends and the next they are mortal enemies." It's not like she hasn't experienced this kind of thing before. "Are you worried about those people?" Xiaobai listened to all the conversations in the living room and knew what the master and the male master were worried about. "They don't have the final say in this country. Even if you have some abilities, as long as you don't harm the country can't touch you. Besides, the most useful thing you have for those people is to maintain their health. Pills, but didn't you hand over all the prescriptions? Furthermore, traditional Chinese medicine is in decline in this country. Besides, you are not the only one who knows Chinese medicine. Mr. Mu's medical skills are better than yours. You only have a few more ancient prescriptions." Xiaobai's words were very realistic, and they also gave Mei Shui a glimmer of light in the darkness. "You mean, as long as I don't take out the elixir of life, it won't be a problem, right?" Mei Shui was very clear-headed, but she had just fallen into a misunderstanding. Uncle Shi and the others may not all have hostile intentions. At most, they have some small thoughts of their own, which are not too bad. Who among people would not have a little bit of selfishness? Stayed there for about an hour. The sadness on Mei Shui's face disappeared, replaced by a clear clarity, ans, I figured it out. Mei Shui was happy to share what she had figured out with he ans. Looking at the person jumping into his arms, he is a man. However, it can be tolerated. What have you figured out? He ans asked with a dark look. We have figured out the path we will take in the future. Mei Shui had nothing to hide from him. Besides, he had also read the medical book, but he was not interested. Mei Shui told he ans the topic she had discussed with Xiaobai. He ans smiled after hearing this. You are right. As long as those ancient prescriptions are not taken out, we will not threaten others. Besides, the prescription you handed over earlier is enough to make them remember. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 380. Chapter 380, The Drug Trial Begins. Although that prescription is not a prescription for immortality, it can be regarded as a rare health-preserving prescription for human beings today. That's right, even if there is a prescription in the future, we will not target the incurable. Mei Shui is not a holy mother, and she cannot threaten her family for the sake of others. You are right to think so. I support you. He ans smiled, and he was convinced by her. So, it was his turn to clear her up. The three children who originally wanted to talk to their parents about the matter, but after their parents closed the door, the three children obediently went to their own rooms. Let's talk tomorrow. Perhaps I thought that I was too important. After thinking about it, I found that I was actually not that important. Then getting along with the old men returned to the way it was before. But for the courtyard matter, he ans still chose Hao Erhe. Xiao's school life is similar to that in Shenzhen City, and his relationship with his classmates is also going on normally. But Xiaopeng and Xiaocheng were much more cheerful. Humph, you said you are the boss since you are the eldest son of the elementary school. That's right, the two of them were blocked by the legendary top student. Hey, new guy, everyone knows our brother Cheng. Whoever sees him has to pay his own protection fee. Why, are you blind? Cheng Jiabao said with a haughty look on his side. Cheng Jiabao, how should I put it, he is also a famous figure in the first grade of the attached primary school. His academic performance is not good and he likes to make troubles. But he has a great father and a protective mother. Cheng Jiabao often supported his son in school. In this way, Cheng Jiabao became a bully in the first grade of the attached primary school. Fortunately, he didn't do anything too outrageous, so he was easily dealt with by some people. The people he bullied in school were all weak people, but he was very discerning about those with status. The Cheng family is getting worse day by day, and the old man is also ill in bed. Cheng Jiabao has been able to read people's faces since he was a child, and the trouble has not become unmanageable. At the age of 10, he was bullying some honest people in school. As soon as Xiaopeng and Xiaocheng entered the school, they were liked by many people because of their outstanding appearance and generous spending. Even though the school has only been open for 2 months, they have made many good friends in school. Many people gathered around them on weekdays, which Cheng Jiabao couldn't stand. No, at noon, he came with his little brother. 10-year-old Cheng Jiabao is about the same height as 8-year-old Xiaopeng and others. But that aura could be suppressed a lot, which made him feel very unhappy. I don't know whether I am blind or not, but I know you are a fool, Xiaocheng said excitedly. Having been here for 2 months, no one has had any conflicts with him, which makes him very helpless. Where is the fun in Shenzhen City? What did you say? As soon as the loser heard someone calling him a fool, he immediately stopped working, rolled up his sleeves and rushed forward. And the people around him didn't stop him, as if they knew the result, they were still making noises from the sidelines. Hit him, hit him. Xiaopeng sighed, brother, be good and leave some fun for me. Xiaopeng is also a sinister person. He leaves everything to his younger brother in public, but in private, his methods are no worse than his younger brother's. Cheng Jiabao seemed to be sure that the two newcomers in front of him would be dealt with. He found a place and sat down. Hurry up, I have to go to dinner later. I heard there are new dishes today. As soon as the dog leg heard the word new dish, his eyes lit up. Brother Cheng, take me one. No problem, I'll give you some extra food today after cleaning up, Cheng Jiabao said with arrogance. Brother Cheng and me. Me, and me. Seeing being complimented by so many younger brothers, Cheng Jiabao immediately became arrogant. If you don't do it quickly, just ask them to hand over 100 yuan. His eyes were very disdainful. Xiao Cheng was speechless, but he asked rudely, what new dish are you talking about? Xiaopeng was speechless, his younger brother was such a good for nothing. He, country bumpkin, I don't know this. Have you ever heard of the Intercontinental Hotel? They looked arrogant when talking about this. You can't tell by looking at them, so don't talk nonsense to them. Doglegs didn't want to delay any longer. There were only 2 hours at noon. After hearing the word Intercontinental, Xiaopeng and Xiaocheng looked at each other. How come they didn't know about the addition of new dishes today? However, it's not important. The fight between Xiaocheng and Goli lasted for less than 10 seconds. This was the reason why Xiaocheng gave up. Ouch! Dogleg fell to the ground. Seeing that his side had lost, what could Cheng Jiabao do? What are you going to do? Let's go together. How could a 10-year-old kid beat a master like Xiaocheng? After a few bang-bang sounds, everyone on Cheng Jiabao's side fell to the ground. I thought they were very capable, but it turns out they are all soft-legged shrimps. Xiaocheng lost his intention to play around, glanced at his second brother and stepped aside. Xiaopeng helped everyone up one by one. I'm sorry, everyone, my brother's actions were a bit careless. Finally walking in front of Cheng Jiabao, Xiaopeng seemed to have found a new toy. Tap him on the shoulder. Cheng Jiabao was a little scared. He didn't have much ability on his own, so he usually relied on the people around him. You, what are you doing? Cheng Jiabao was a little afraid and took 2 steps back. Don't be afraid, my brother and I are not the kind of people who do nothing. We just want to go to school in an ordinary way. Xiaopeng's eyes were very serious. Of course, I don't mind if we all make friends unknowingly. Xiaopeng wiped off all the dust on his hands. Cheng Jiabao and his group knew they had encountered a tough situation. I won't tell the teachers or parents about this. Don't worry, it's getting late. My brother and I are going to have dinner. See you all later. He waved his hand without taking away a single cloud. After the others had gone away, Cheng Jiabao and others came back to their senses. Brother Cheng, they are from the Lian family, so this matter is not easy to handle, the dog-legged man said with a flattering look on his face. Of course Cheng Jiabao knew something. Humph, this matter is not over yet. After saying that, he took his little brother and left this embarrassing place. Xiaopeng and Xiaocheng were walking on the road. Xiaocheng looked excited and asked, how is the second brother? What kind of medicine is this time? Well, these two brothers are cheating people together. This time it's an enhanced version of the itching medicine. I don't know how many days they can survive, Xiaopeng said with anticipation. Xiaocheng trembled a little when he heard this. Second brother, you didn't accidentally hurt your teammates, did you? He was a little scared. Xiaopeng rolled his eyes at him. Humph, are you worthy? It would be a waste for him to use this medicine, and he didn't know why. No matter what kind of medicine, it would not work on them. Of course, the eldest brother is an exception. They asked their mother about this, and she told them to keep it a secret and not to tell it, not even to their eldest brother. Of course, they didn't understand it at first, but after listening to their mother's coaxing explanation, they chose to hide it. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 381. Chapter 381, Important People. Mei Shui didn't let them say that she just didn't want Xiao to think too much. After all, it wasn't her who gave birth to her, and the physical difference was quite big. During her pregnancy, she often gave her unborn baby some extra stuff. Now this is normal. It can be regarded as a little secret between the two brothers. Second brother, you don't have to do this. Why am I not worthy? Huh, if you do this again, I will tell my mother that you bullied me. Xiao Chen became dissatisfied. Go ahead, if your mother wants to deal with you, you might as well deal with me. This younger brother is really stupid. The two of them lived a happy life in school. Soon Cheng Jiabao's reaction came out. Of course it cannot happen right now, but early the next morning. Those who were touched by Xiaopeng began to feel itchy all over their bodies. They didn't take it seriously at first, but after they touched it. Mom, I feel so itchy. Cheng Jiabao's body was the most heavily medicated. There was no way, because he was the last one, so Xiaopeng rubbed all the medicine on him. Plus on his shoulders, more is absorbed between each inhalation and exhalation. Baby, where are you itching? A worried voice came from a very stylish villa. Cheng Jiabao walked down from the second floor. Mom, look, I have a lot of bumps on my hands. Those bags became more and more unpleasant and itchy. Cheng Jiabao couldn't help but scratch them with his hands, scratching more and more. Within a few breaths, the skin on my hands was scratched. That's not all, not only are my hands itchy, but my body is also itchy. When Cheng Jiabao's mother saw the blood, screams erupted in the villa. Hurry, let's go to the hospital quickly. Without saying a word, he arranged for a driver at home and drove to the hospital. On this day, the school lost its bully. Because of what happened yesterday, Xiaopeng and Xiao Cheng have been paying attention to Cheng Jiabao and the others. After asking around, it turned out that the bully didn't have anything to do in school today. Xiaopeng smiled. It seems the effect is pretty good. He looked satisfied. Second brother, what's so good? It was like this before. Xiao Cheng didn't think there was any difference. What do you know, in the past, the medicine had to wait 3 days, but this time it didn't arrive in 1 day. He has been studying seizure time control. The most powerful version is that it will go off as soon as it is touched. This kind of thing must not be used to deceive others, because it clearly tells others that it was you who did it. 3 days was too long, so he kept changing it. This kind of medicine will disappear within 3 days after the attack. It cannot be treated with current Western medicine, otherwise it will make it more itchy and uncomfortable. If you meet a knowledgeable Chinese medicine practitioner, you may suffer less. The antidote is actually very simple. Just smear your own urine all over your body. This will take effect immediately, but who knows? The two waited in school for 3 days, but unfortunately they still did not see the bully come back. Xiaopeng couldn't help but tell his elder brother about this. Xiao shook his head speechlessly after hearing this. You must have been caught. If you were caught, you wouldn't come to school right away. If you want to know the result, you have to ask yourself. This won't work. Xiaopeng thought thoughtfully. Brother, do you think if I weaken the effect of the medicine a little more, I can observe it at close range in school? Xiao Cheng feels that his eldest and second brothers are too scary, so he should go and accompany his wife. Coming to the living room, Xiao Cheng hugged Xiao Bai and lay down next to his wife. It's safer outside. Have you finished your homework, you brat, Grandma? He was watching TV. When she saw her little great-grandson sitting next to her, she immediately asked, Madam, I finished my homework at school. He didn't want to do his homework. Xiao Cheng had already found a good helper at school. She is a very cute little girl. As long as she has candy, she can help him with his homework. Why should he bring it back and write it himself? However, that girl's grades were a bit poor. 6 of the 10 homework questions she wrote were wrong. I don't know how she went to school. She couldn't do such simple things. However, she is very satisfied if she can help him right. Right or wrong is not important. Then watch TV with my wife. It's great. The old lady has recently become obsessed with TV series. Xiao Cheng glanced at it, not interested, but he couldn't go back in the room. Okay, it was safer to stay with his wife. Meixue was cooking in the kitchen. Of course she found out what happened in the living room, but it was rare that Xiao Cheng had time to spend with the old lady, so she was happy. Give him extra food in the evening. Hians has been very busy recently. With the kindness of the old man, he spent money to buy the Hauerhei yard. However, the renovation will take some time. I will definitely not be able to go this year, and I will have to wait until the second half of next year. He has to keep an eye on the headquarters construction here every day. Not only that, he also has to work on the site. Manpower became a problem again, so he went directly to Qianziang and asked him to call his elder brother to ask for people. Qianziang is used to it. He has also been living in Kyoto recently. Can you make a call yourself? Aren't you annoyed that you always come to me? Seeing Hian's coming, Qianziang had a headache. Isn't this a chance for you to please your elder brother so that he doesn't have to scold you when he comes back? A look of goodwill for him. You owe as much as you owe. Come on, why do you always ask me to step in when you can solve the problem yourself with just one phone call? The Zhao family was able to take advantage of this job, but could he not intervene? You are his biological brother. For your sake, Brother Zhao will give you more reliable people. Hians didn't want to deal with people from the military department. It would be troublesome. It's better to leave this matter to the Zhao family, and he doesn't mind sharing the benefits with the Zhao family. Compared to others, he prefers to deal with Qianziang. One size equals one size, making it clean and comfortable. Humph, I think you want to hear my elder brother scold me, not me saying, Hians, when will you grow up, childish? Hians was not afraid of him and said, I am happy, I am proud of myself. Ah! Fortunately, no one heard the conversation between the two, otherwise. No, as soon as Brother Zhao answered the call, he immediately became impatient. Why are you calling me? Don't you know I'm very busy recently? Sure enough, dear brother. Hian smiled, but it was silent. Brother, can you be nice to me? Qianziang raised his forehead. I'm not looking for you, Ans is looking for you. He didn't want to talk about this with his eldest brother. It was unclear, but it gave my eldest brother something better to scold him. He is not stupid. Hians answered the phone and said, Hello, Brother Zhao. As soon as he heard Hian's voice, Zhao Kaij changed his tone. It's you, Ans. Why did you remember to call your elder brother? Because he helped many retired people find good homes. Many people in the military came to curry favor with him. It also makes his road ahead more spacious. No, I'm here in Kyoto, and I don't have enough people on hand. I don't want to ask Brother Zhao if he has any good experts. End of this chapter.